Here is a brief overview of all the different game options inside of Gimkit. These different game options allow you to customize the gameplay to your liking, as well as switch things up for your students. I recommend you try out a bunch of different game settings and options to figure out what works best for your classes, but also experiment a little bit. So here, the first one is the game mode. That's in the very top here, which we have classic and team mode. You can change the mode by just clicking on them. Classic mode is where students compete individually, so they try to make the most money compared to all the other students. Team mode is where students get paired together, and they share a balance with their team. However, each team member purchases and owns their own power-ups and upgrades. So team members have to talk to one another and strategize who should buy which upgrades and when. Team mode is also really great for struggling students because they have their team supporting them. If you're in team mode, you can also change the number of players per team by editing this number here. Next is the game goal, and the game goal decides when the game ends. First is a time-based goal, in which when the time runs out, the game ends. You can change the amount of time by editing this number right here. Next is a race, which is the first player or team to reach the cash goal, which you can also edit that number. All in ends when the combined total of all players reaches a certain amount. So while students are competing against one another, the game ends when they collaboratively work together to reach a certain amount of money. That's a game goal. Next is classes. If you use classes in Gimkit, you can use the drop down here to select which one. But no need if you aren't using classes, don't worry about that. Starting cash in Gimkit starts your teams or students off with a certain amount of money. By default, everyone starts off with $0, but you can set this to whatever amount you want so that students can purchase upgrades right off the bat. Handicap makes sure that students don't get caught too far behind. You can set a minimum amount of money that a student must have. That way, they can't go too far down into the negatives. You can edit this number. I can make this -3. That way, a student won't be able to go below -$3. You can turn on answer check if you want students to be able to see the correct answer after they answer a question incorrectly. This is really great if you're introducing new content, but even really great for review, so they can see right then and there what the correct answer was. If you don't want music, you can just toggle it on or off right here. And clapping at the end of the game, you can turn that on or off too. Last is the shop options. If you don't like power-ups, you can turn off power-ups, or you can turn it on. Same thing goes for themes. You can turn that on or off. Now, if you like power-ups, but you don't like the ones that hurt other players, just turn on the clean power-ups only. That will keep all the power-ups except for the ones that hurt other players. So that is a brief overview of all the game options inside of Gimkit. Again, I recommend that you go and try different game options to see what works best for your class. Let me know if you have any questions.